Hello, my name is Sean Ferrell. I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. I am one of four children. I am the son of Paul and Yvonne Ferrell. And I've had depression since I was 18. And I've had anxiety and suicidal thoughts as well. I've had some ugly, dark moments where I've questioned myself. Why am I here? What am I doing here? What is the purpose of life? Why am I a failure? Why can't I get anybody to understand? Honestly, I asked these questions for a long time. And the only way I saw out was suicide. All the pain that I was having bottled up inside, the only way I saw was suicide. I thought about it. I dreamed it. I tried it. And now I'm about to tell you my story.
So this is where I grew up. This is the neighborhood that I grew up. You know, I lived in that, had a house right there. I was born to Paul and Yvonne Ferrell. I am the second oldest in the family. I do have three brothers. I know my mom and dad, they tried four times for a girl, and after the fourth time they just said, that's it. That's it. So after my younger brother came along in 1989, they were done. They were done. Yeah. They were done. My dad grew up in New Albany, Mississippi. He worked the cotton fields. I know he did work the cotton fields. And I believe he was among 11 children that my grandmother had. And my mom, she grew up in Gary, Indiana. And and in 1975, my dad worked for Xerox. He recently retired as early as a couple of years ago. And my mom, she actually became a teacher's assistant. And she recently retired not too long ago as well. You never look at the place you grew up as a bad place, because as kids, we kind of did not know. We kind of did not know. But as a kids, you know, this neighborhood was pretty miserable to grow up in. The unique thing about it was we all had friends within our age range. My oldest brother, he had his friends within his age range. I had my friends within my age range. My two youngest brothers, they had their friends within their age range. And we all live right in this area, right here. And some lived a little further down, but we were all close together. Had friends who lived in a couple of houses right there. Had friends who lived in that neighborhood, right up on the street. And so, we did live in the neighborhood full of bullies. I saw things that I wasn't used to see. There was stealing, there was bullying, there was I would say low-level criminal stuff taking place here as well. And I was actually a little bit of a victim of that. This one time, it was a real hot day, and I was riding my bike. Came back in to get something to drink, and I wasn't even in the house for no more than 5 minutes. Okay. All of a sudden, I come back outside. My bike is gone. I mean, not my bike, but my bike tires are gone. My bike tires are stolen off of my bike. And I'm like, how the hell could this have happened? How could this have happened? I just so happened to look over the fence, and there are my tires in the neighbor's in the neighbor's backyard. So I was pretty pissed to say the least. Some of the things that took place, I just so happened to look over the backyard again, and I see some of the guys who lived in the neighborhood. They were doing a little bit of saw all types of stuff that I was not supposed to see. Recently, a friend of mine who I grew up with there, she recently wrote me a letter on Messenger, and the letter read something like this. It said, "Sean, I have been on your channel bawling my eyes out. I did not know how much bullying affected kids until I became an adult. We lived in a neighborhood full of bullies, and you were next door to the main ones. I feel somewhat responsible because I did not stop them. I want to apologize with my whole heart for not helping. I promise if I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have allowed it to happen around me. My children have been suspended for helping their friends that were being bullied. I know how serious it is now, and watching you advocate has blessed my spirit. But I feel so bad because I didn't help you for years. I pray that you accept my apologies, please. I am very proud of you for speaking out. Our culture are taught not to share anything that goes on in the home, which is why black kids shut down. I am so glad that you have the support from people that can help your story as well. Also now, you have me. We may not be as close, but know I'll always listen and help do whatever I can without judgment. Thank you for sharing your story, because I never knew how toxic that environment was for you. Keep spreading the word." That's what she wrote. That's what she wrote to me. And to Crystal Williamson, yes, I fully 100% accept your apology. I'm pretty much past that now. I can't remember that far back being made fun of, but she does. But he does. And I 100% accept your apology, Crystal Williamson. I did have a speech problem when I was little, which I still do have to today. So I kind of have to, if I find myself talking fast, I kind of have to slow down and just talk really, really slow. And so, yeah, that was the That was the neighborhood that we grew up in. I saw my dad. I saw my dad get into several confrontations with the next door neighbor, with their mother, because I think anytime my dad tried to correct her kids' behavior, give them some type of discipline, they would just go and tell their mom. And and I guess she did not like the fact that my dad was trying to give them discipline, straight hitting them out. And so I saw my dad get into several face-to-face confrontations. Even at one point, she even slapped after. And so yeah. So I think that's one of the reasons why we moved out around April of 1997. Yeah, we moved out in April 97, and was able to finish out the school year with all my friends that I went to school with. Was able to finish out the school year with them, so I still saw them every day at school. But as far as seeing them after school, you know, I remember it like it was yesterday. Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm coming down on the street. I'm coming down from the top of the hill, and I'm riding my bike, kind of not thinking who was coming down this street. Kind of not thinking who was coming down this street right here. I get to about the center section of the street right here. Get about to the center section of this street, and a car ran a stop sign. Just sent me flying from all the way to here to right over there at that sewer, right where that sewer is at right there. And I certainly didn't see, but car hit me. It sent me flying all the way across to that sewer right there. And the whole neighborhood saw it. To say hey, the least. The whole neighborhood saw it, to say hey, the least. First time I ever remember getting somewhat bullied was in the 6th grade. I had already been bullied before for my speech problem, so nothing had changed on that, I guess you can say. But we had these fundraisers every year that we did, and Mom, do you want some peanut butter brittle? Do you want some gummy worms? Do you want Christmas wrapping, or all that? And so a couple of my family members ordered some stuff. My oldest brother, he ordered some gummy worms, and all of this stuff came. And you don't get on the bus with all of that good stuff. You don't get on the bus with all that good stuff that you're holding. And so some of the students, some of the kids, they were actually beginning to kind of stick their hands into my higher back. Like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? We want to see what you got. So then they kind of forcefully, I guess you can say, there were several hands that were around that bag, so I couldn't keep them all out at once. So they eventually got hold of my brother's gummy worms, which they ate all. Which they ate all. And he was mad when I got home. Sorry about that, James. Sorry about that, James. But yeah, I would say they rushed me, but they kind of used their hands. Their hands got a bit hissy. I would say that. I can remember my first day on the sixth grade. I didn't get on the bus because I thought it was the wrong bus to get on. So that would be the start of my anxiety right there. Yeah. So, but I would say the absolute worst came when I was in the 7th grade. We didn't have assigned seats, but we all had seats we all had our seats that we liked to sit in. I sat in the back of the bus, not surprisingly. I sat in the back of the bus, and whenever it would come to my stop, I know the kids who sat in the middle, like the dead middle of the bus, they would always like, stick their legs out, impede my progress trying to get off the bus. But I always got off. I always found a way to get it off. So not only that, they would actually say some pretty mean things as I was getting off the bus as well. So it comes to my stop one day, and it comes to my stop, and they knew it was my hot stop. They knew it was my stop. Okay. These kids knew when they came to my high stop, because what they would do is bus would maybe he like. They knew it. They knew it. They knew it was my hot stop, and they knew they were about to do some shit. So I get up, walking down the aisle. Of course, they still stick their legs out, and I'm like, I'm just sick of it's a shit, man. I'm sick of these motherfuckers sticking their legs out. I'm sick of it. And so I decided I would force my way through. So in the process of trying to just bull my way through, just as I was getting through, somebody had pulled down my shorts, and the entire bus just erupted like an angry volcano in laughter. The entire bus just erupted like an angry volcano in laughter. And so when that happened, I began to feel tears. Tears were like immediately onset of tears. It came rushing, like it was just, tears were just beginning to rush. So what I did was, I pulled my shorts up. I held those tears back just long enough. I was able to hold those tears back just long enough. Then when I got off the bus, it all came out. So yeah, so I cried all the way home. I cried all the way home.
I finished up my 8th grade years at Althaware, and now I'm moving on to high school, which is Germantown High School. And so they had a little saying that the freshmen always get it jumped, which I did not believe one iota because I did not get jumped my freshman year. I didn't get jumped the whole year.
You know, Germantown High School. It had, and little bit here for the changes. They didn't have that. They didn't have that when I was here. You know, campus pretty much looks campus pretty much looks the same. Yeah, A building, C building, V building, M building, M and X building, lunchroom. Yeah, and just beneath there, that was a shop class, just below A building, right there, and V building and VE building. That's where I was in print shop. No, we did, and in print shop we did most of the we did the course catalogs, we did school newspapers and all that. So, so anything that the school needed printed, you know, it pretty much came through us in print shop. And so, yeah. Can you believe it's almost been 15, 16 years since I've been back here? Yeah, looking at this campus, I don't think too much has really changed since 2004. Now I see the football field, you know, is a little bit. I see the football field is a little bit differently. You know, back in 2004, I know they didn't have the gates here. But other than that, the buildings looks are the same. Parking lot still the same. You know, that's where the gym was. Where we had all the pep rallies. You know, and that portable right there was where Coach Sheets was right there. Yeah. I still remember Coach Sheets. Probably one of the coolest teachers. Probably one of the coolest teachers in in town. I think he was actually the first one to do when I was in senior high school. He was one of the first ones who did the Germantown High School slam dunk contest. Yeah, I remember that. So that was the first. You know, he probably did hit the first dunk contest right here. They had a gym right there, and so yeah, good memories here.
The third day of my freshman year, that's when things took a turn. Somehow my bike had ended up disappearing again. So I had gotten a new one, and it had came in on Tuesday night, and so I was really eager to ride it. And so after I got home from school, which was a Wednesday, my dad had made some little tiny adjustments to it, and I took it out riding. So when I was riding it, I noticed that the back tire would sort of jump or lift. I noticed it, but I really didn't. I noticed it, but I really didn't think nothing of. Really didn't think nothing of it. I'm just thinking, well, maybe I just need to get used to this bike or what, or not. But I kept noticing it when I can't remember if it was the left or right brake. Can't remember. Probably the right, where I pulled on it, the back tire would jump and jump and jump. And so I'm coming down this trail, and I'm coming down what they call a Richwood Trail. And it's not a pretty trail, and it's not a pretty trail. It's a rough riding trail, to say the least. Nearly half the trails in Richwood are like really rough. The pavement is like really rough. But I was riding on the Richwood Trail, and I had no bike helmet on me either. So I'm riding down the trail, and I must have been going pretty, and I must have been going fast. But I'm riding down, and I look down for about 2 seconds, and I look back up, and there's like a tree that's standing in the middle. Now in my mind, I got to make a quick decision. I said, do I try to go around this tree, go through the tree, and risk getting hit by the tree, or do I just pull the brake and avoid it all altogether? I decided to pull the brake, but when I pulled the brake, the bike flipped, and when the bike flipped, so did I, and I ended up landing head first. And but this is what I remember. I flipped, and I was out. I flipped, and I was out. I don't remember nothing else except flipping in the air, and I was out. So obviously I was down on the ground for several minutes, and when I came to, it felt like I was in a dream almost. It felt like I was dreaming. Did this really happen? Like, when I came to, I was down on the ground, like, what just happened? Am I dreaming? Cause it really felt like I was dreaming. It really did. It felt like I was just waking up from a bad dream. And so I'm laying on the ground. What just happened? Did I dream this? I think the moment I knew I wasn't dreaming is when I looked up and saw, is when I started to get up, and I saw my 2 front teeth on the ground. And that's when I kind of knew it wasn't a dream. Or that's when I knew it wasn't a dream. And so for some reason I did not pick them up. I did not pick them up. And so when I got up, I really knew I wasn't dreaming when all of the pain started to rush. When all the pain started to rush. Gashes on my hands, cuts on my arms, 2 front missing teeth, broken big toe later. Broken big toe that I know I didn't have until a little bit later. And so looking back on that, the dream, when I say it was like a dream, I realized I was probably just traumatized. And so I had another decision to make. I said, do I try to find help at the nearest house, or do I try to walk home? And I was leaning towards walking home, but I said, nah, that's not a good idea right now. Let's try to find some help at the nearest house. So bleeding, drool coming down, mixed in with the blood and all that. Knocked on this one house. Nobody came to the door. Knocked on this second house. And this lady comes to the front door. And she just puts her hands over her. And she just puts her hand over her mouth. And she can't believe what she is seeing. She put her hand over her mouth. Took her hand down. And just opened her mouth like, what just happened to him? What just happened to him? And she gave me a ride. She gave me a ride. She was nice enough to give me a ride home. And I can remember walking into the house. And I'm pretty sure my parents were pretty shocked when they saw how I looked as well. So I get home. And I don't remember quite what happened next, but I do remember looking up, and here is my dad coming back with my bike. And in my mind, I'm going like, how did they find that bike? How did they find that bike? I'm like, how did they find that bike? I guess it was near. I guess they found it. I guess it was since the accident happened towards some houses. I guess they were able to find the bike that way, but I have no clue how they found that bike. But I saw that he was walking back in with it, so they found it somehow. But I ended up missing the rest of that week, and I believe I missed all of next week as well while I healed. While I healed. I remember when I was healing, I had a lot of dentist appointments. I saw somebody about my broken big toe. I had a cast. Had to be in a cast for a while. And I can remember stuff kept coming up my throat, and I would always like spit it out. So then my mom would like, well, if you don't want that stuff to come up, you gotta swallow it. So that was a little hard to do. So I kept spitting it out, but one day came, I just closed my eyes, swallowed real hard, and it became less and less frequent, and it eventually went away. And so I was finally well enough to go back to school, and I had my cast on, and but my two front teeth were still missing. So when I got back to school, I kind of knew what was coming. I kind of knew what was coming. I have two front missing teeth. I knew what was coming. I knew full well what was coming. Well, needless to say, the only people who were sympathetic were my teachers, because they really because they completely understood how serious I was hurt, and so they were the only ones who were sympathetic to me. But when I got back to school, it was just as I thought, cracking up laughing at the fact that I had no front teeth, man. Cracking up laughing that I had no front teeth. The cafeteria, classrooms, hallways. Yeah, I was made for enough. and I didn't show it, but it really hurt. It really hurt because even when I told them what had happened, I don't think they really even cared what had happened to me. All they saw was a guy who had two front missing teeth, and that was funny to them. And that was real funny to them. Some of the names I was called, I was asked by somebody, did my teeth duck? I was called Rufus Toothus. One name I was called Cletus. I was called Cletus. And so I was called all sorts of names. I can remember walking to a classroom. I don't remember what name somebody called me, but I walked into a classroom running a what they call, I guess, like a school errand or something for a teacher. Walked into the classroom and somebody recognized who I was, and they made fun of my teeth, and the whole class laughs. And so I didn't say nothing. I just looked at him crazy, but that's all. You know. When I was a sophomore in high school, I would say, looking back at that 2001 to 2002 sophomore year of high school, I was just about as miserable as you can be. I was just about as miserable as you can be. But I didn't know it. I didn't know it because I really wasn't, I didn't really know at that time that I was miserable. But several years later, looking back on that 10th grade year, I was miserable as I can be. I really got it then. I really got it for the whole school. I really got it. But at the time, I thought nothing of it. I really thought nothing of it. I really got it from the whole school. The whole school just gave it to me, and they gave it to me good. And I remember somebody saying that I had a fade like a blade. I remember that line. I got on the bus one day, and somebody said Sean has that blade fade. So the kids were laughing at that. but yeah, that was a miserable year for me. That year was a miserable year for me. I still did hear my work though. Despite that, I still did hear my work. I still did hear my work, and despite the fact I was miserable, still did hit the work. Passed on to the 11th, 12th grade, whatnot. But I was still hearing jokes about my teeth though. And when I heard those jokes, it started to get really old, and it just really started to get really old, and it got really old, and I started being even more miserable than I was. I think with each passing year, I became a little bit more miserable and depressed. I was depressed before I knew I was depressed, and being made fun of because of my teeth, because of because of how skinny I was and my speech problem. Um, that really got old to hear, and I was miserable and I was depressed. And the name that I absolutely despised the most was being called OG. Now, you think, now for all the old heads, you may think original gangster. In my case, back in the early millennium, OG for me stood for old grandpa. In other words, since I had two front missing teeth, they called me old grandpa. And there were times where I would forget my partials. There were times where I would forget my partials that my dentist had gave me. And when I forgot my partials, I had to face the day with no whole front teeth. And so OG was the name I absolutely despised the most, being called old grandpa. And I can remember being laughed at in the hallway. I was called OG in the classroom. I can remember we had this like Spaghetti Day, and when I was a senior in high school, and they had like all the and each day had a different thing. Like Monday, come dressed like this. Tuesday, come dressed like this. One day was Rodeo Drive, and I asked one of the teachers what was Rodeo Drive, and they said, well, Los Angeles. No, coming dressed up, looking real good. I said, oh, I can do that. So I came in the next day looking sharp. So I walked into class, 4th period. I walk in. Someone sees me. This girl sees me, and she says, "Who are you? You supposed to be OG? Who are you supposed to be? OG pimp?" And the students laughed, but immediately after they laughed, she said, "That's what y'all called him." So I had no animosity. So I had no animosity towards her, because she saw that that's what everybody was calling me, OG. So I had no animosity towards her, but I was still miserable. Still got made fun of. Did I tell the teacher? Yes. I told the teacher that there was a particular student that was messing with me, but I don't think she did anything particular. I don't think she particularly did anything about it. And I'm gonna say the teacher's name. I'm gonna say the teacher's name. But I don't think she particularly did anything. So I just didn't bother telling her no. I just didn't bother telling her no more. And it was a rough couple of years at Germantown. I didn't show it. I did not show it, but anger was built inside. Anger was building inside of me. Anger was building inside of me, because I was so angry at being made fun of with no teeth, people picking on me because of my speech impediment, making fun of the fact that anything that I did, it was funny. I can remember riding home one day, and I'll end on, and then I'll end it on this right here. One day, I was riding home on the bus, and I'm looking out the window, and two people who usually pick on me, they were sitting close to me, and this one guy just comes up and starts talking to me, and I want him to leave me alone, but that's when my anxiety showed up in a big way. He started talking to me, and I just want him to leave, and I just want him to leave me the F alone, okay? So he started talking to me, and while he's talking, my anxiety just completely took over. It just completely took over. It took over to the point where he asked me a question. I was mumbling answers like, well, I don't know. Well, yeah, so, and they're laughing at me the whole time. At this point, my anxiety was like a volcano. So at this point, he's still talking to me, and I'm just wondering, when is it going to get to my stop so I can get the F off this bus? Because at this point, I was sweating. Because he just won't leave me alone. And he keeps asking me questions, and I keep mumbling answers. And I was sweating really, really heavily. It got to my stop. I could not get off that bus fast enough. When I got off that bus, and it was a hot day too. When I got off that bus, I stopped sweating, okay? Because I felt so much better that I didn't have to talk to him anymore. But I would say I was miserable all throughout high school. I was miserable and I was depressed all throughout high school. And when graduation came, I was ecstatic to be graduating. I was ecstatic to be graduating, but deep down, I was really, really angry over what had happened to me in 7th grade, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So I was ecstatic to be graduating, but when I left Germantown High School, I was angry. I was angry and I was pissed. And it led to issues on my part. As my experience goes, you know, what I deal with, depression, anxiety, thoughts of suicide. I've done research on depression, and it can be really unpredictable because it can strike at any time. Sometimes it can come on without warning. I can leave here. Leave this building, and then probably about 5-10 minutes later, bam, there it is. No, sometimes depression comes on without warning. Now, certain situations can trigger depression. Like if somebody loses a job, somebody, you know, if you go through a breakup, you lose a family member, you get into a car accident, you know. So there are certain situations that can trigger depression, but it can also be fairly unpredictable, as I just said. It can strike at any moment without any warning. And as far as anxiety goes, I think there are certain situations that can lead to anxiety. I know, just use this, you are driving you are driving home from work and there's traffic, and you may get anxiety not knowing if there's a accident on 380 on Highway 385. So you'll probably be stuck for about 10 minutes in traffic. So anxiety can come from going to a new situation. You're fairly uncertain about a situation that may occur, a new work situation, moving to a new city, you know, or in my case, when I started answering calls at the crisis center, there's a certain anxiety and nervousness when I started, because this is your very first time and you are truly in foreign territory. and so yeah, that's what I deal with as far as depression and anxiety. Thoughts of suicide, that is a real heavy thing for me to deal with, but I do deal with it. Again, thoughts of suicide, certain situations can trigger thoughts of suicide, but depression has also been linked to thoughts of suicide as well. What I just talked about, certain situations that can lead to depression can also lead to thoughts of suicide. Loss of a job, relationship breakup, loss of a family friend, money, you know. So just different situations. Everybody's situation is different. Those are just some of the situations that I've encountered that has led me to think about just ending it all. My name is Sean Ferrell. This is my story.